Hey everyone, it's Jean Moncrief, founder of the Freedom Experience, and here to help you to create a healthy, valuable business. So today I want to talk to you about something called no man's land. If you ever had that feeling that no matter what you do in your business, you just can't get the traction that you're looking for. You're just not moving forward, and it's frustrating. And maybe doesn't feel like your employees are on board anymore, or employee morale is low, or they're not embracing the ideas that you're bringing to the table anymore. And that's very frustrating. And perhaps there's a sense that there's a misalignment between you and your business and your customers. In the past, it felt like as you're going through a very high growth phase, you're nicely aligned with your customers, and not so much anymore. And perhaps you just feel like your business is stagnating, and no matter what you do to move it forward, you're feeling frustrated. So Doug Tatum gave this a name. For high growth businesses where you've been through process of scaling the business up, and you've been growing nicely, and you suddenly wake up and you find that things aren't working anymore. You're stuck, and no matter what you do, you just don't move forward. And it's kind of like you're in an identity crisis. You're in this adolescent stage, going through an identity crisis, and that identity crisis is that you're too big to be small, and too small to be big. So, what I want to do today is talk to you about how you make some decisions in this place. And a lot of business owners spend a lot of time here without even realizing that they're stuck in no man's land. I want to help you identify that you're stuck in no man's land, and I want to help you to get out of no man's land using these 5 M's that Doug Tatum suggests. So the first thing, we've touched on it already. How do you know you're stuck in no man's land? Well, that customer alignment with your business. There was a time where you were perfectly aligned, and that's because you spent a lot of time with your customer, understanding their needs and making sure that your core value proposition was aligned with what they need. But that kind of starts to move out of alignment. And the reason for this is that maybe you're just feeling that the business is physically or financially constrained, and you're not able to get back to that core alignment. The other thing is, as you grow, you start taking on people, you start taking on salespeople to do a job for you, and they don't always get that alignment right. And the reasons for that is that they don't understand your original core value proposition. So what starts happening is that they are selling things that the business can't deliver, and the product development team's getting into a hot mess, and everything's just kind of getting messed up. The other thing is you're getting more and more customer complaints. So we're talking about scalability here. You're starting to scale, and your operations start to buckle underneath you. So if you feel like you're seeing more customer complaints and operations, or your whole operation, your infrastructure is buckling, it's a good indicator that you might be stuck in no man's land. And the third thing is your management team. The people that got you to where you are now are not the people who are going to get you to the next level. So you might find that you're feeling that your management team just aren't the right people to get you to the next level. So these may be good friends now. You've built friendships with them over the year, but you've failed to address the weaknesses that come with having those close friendships with the senior management team of your business. Now, let me give you an example. I've worked with a client who's in the security software business, and they develop security software products. And they were doing very well for a while. The business was scaling nicely. Then something changed. All of a sudden, their clients started to move to the cloud. So they were slow to realize how much of an impact this move to the cloud would have on their business. And when they did finally catch up, they realized that, first of all, they were now completely out of alignment with their customers' needs. The customers had moved on, had new needs, and their alignment was off whack. The second thing is that the resources available to them, particularly the development resources, were not the same resources they were going to need to redevelop or create new software to get back to alignment with the customer needs. And the third thing is that the leadership team didn't have the abilities to take the business to where it needed to go. So those three things come together there in a great example. And I mean, that brings us to, what do you do when you find yourself in no man's land? I guess the first thing that you need to do is get radically objective about your business and about what's going on and where you're at. You need to get clarity on the options that are available to you. And, aside from going out of business, there's probably two other main options for you. One is you just kind of bring it back, and you go back to being that small business where your whole infrastructure and processes are able to cope with the size of the business. So you're basically bringing it back. You're scaling back the business to stay small. The other option is to traverse no man's land, to set off and to make your way across no man's land. Now, assuming your decision is to make it across no man's land, that's where Doug's 5Ms come in. They're going to help you navigate this process that you're going to go through. And I'd suggest that these 5Ms are as relevant to a business that's decided to stay small as to a business that's moving through no man's land. And if you're in a startup, you need to know about these as well, because you're going to go through that startup stage, you're going to get to the adolescent stage. You want to know when you're moving into no man's land, and you want to be able to take these 5Ms that Doug suggests and put them to heart. So, number one, first M, marketing alignment. Talked about it already. When you start out, it's easy to attract business. You, the owner, are spending time with other business owners, with those businesses, and you're getting the alignment right. As you start to grow, you just don't have the time to spend one-on-one with those businesses anymore. So things start to go a little bit out of whack. And as you grow your business and salespeople and all that sort of thing, if you're out of whack, or if that core value proposition alignment is out with what the customer's needs are, then you're in trouble. So you need to get things back into alignment. You need to realign your business. And when you're out of alignment, your sales are going to stagnate. As I said before, your whole product development becomes a bit of a hot mess, because you're trying to do all sorts of things for all sorts of customers. You sell people out there, well, let's do a bit of this over there and a bit of that over there, and the development team or product development folks are trying to do as much as they can, and then you ship that out the door, and you're getting a whole lot of customer complaints. So you've got to get this back, everything realigned again. Once you've got everything realigned, you've got your core value proposition realigned, and this is big. You need to start to make your core value proposition part of the DNA of your business. You need to operationalize it. Doug uses a great example in the book. A business owner who was really good at trading secondhand aircraft parts. I didn't even know this secondhand aircraft business sector existed before. I mean, one always thinks that something goes wrong in an aircraft, or a part fails, you put a brand new one in. But apparently this exists, and this guy is really good at sourcing secondhand parts and trading and doing a deal with aircraft owners, and this was a core value proposition for him. I can find you the best part for your aircraft. He brought somebody in to help run the business, and that person tried to do what he was really good at, and very quickly the business started to lose money. So we're going to get to this a little bit later, but the key to bringing on somebody to help you grow the business and to help you navigate is to be very aware of what your strengths are, so that you're looking for somebody who can fill your weaknesses instead of somebody who's going to go out there and try and do what you're insanely good at and what your core value proposition is. And I'll go into that in a little bit more detail soon. The next thing is your management team. Again, spoken to this already. The people who've got you to where you are now are not the people who are going to take you to the next level. And I know this isn't what you want to hear. I mean, this is probably one of the most difficult things that you're going to have to deal with. Of all the M's, this is the bitter pill, or the most bitter. It's not their fault. It's just that they have not got the experience to take you from where you are now to where you need to be. So to get back in a growth mode, you need to have a really clear vision of where you're going. You need to get your business aligned, so your core value proposition aligned with your customers' needs. And then you need to get an experienced management team in place to help you get there. So let's go back to what I was talking about a few moments ago. Hiring the right person. Because if you get the wrong person in, and I've seen this so often, people go out and they hire a hotshot salesperson from a big corporation like Microsoft, bring them into the business, and that person says, hey, step back, Mr. Owner, I'm going to take control, and before you know it, you're in a hot mess. So let's take a look at a great example of where this has worked well. Steve Jobs is a visionary. His core value proposition was around changing the status quo. So he went out and one of the first things was trying to get us all computing power, a personal computer that we could do the things that you'd have to go off and do on these big supercomputers or whatever. The next thing was revolutionizing the whole music industry, and then taking the mobile device and putting all the apps and building that whole infrastructure. But he's a visionary and really good at that. But he knew that he wasn't an operations guy. So he went out and he found Tim Cook, brought Tim Cook in. Tim Cook helped solve Apple's supply chain problems. And the point here is that when you go out, look for somebody who is able to help you at what you're weak at. If you're the visionary, find the person who can help you with supply chain, can help you with logistics, can help you with accounting, can help you with administration, all of the things that you're really weak at. But when it comes to your core value proposition, protect that. Steve and Tim went on to take that core value proposition and bake it into Apple to make it part of the company's DNA. So I want you to be really careful about going out and hiring somebody to help you with your business. Make sure you're careful about who you choose. The next step, your model. So the model that got you to where you are now is not going to get you to where you need to be. And in the early stages, that model's built around cheap labor, high performance, creating a great product at a very low cost, charging below market rates. It comes out of, I guess, being a startup when you've got this hustle and hacking and all that going on. And then you move into, or you get beyond the startup phase, and you've still got a team of people who are dedicated to your business, and they're dedicated to its success, and you're all burning the candle on both ends. And you're creating a product that's really a high value, but you're doing it at a super low labor cost, or at least at a below market cost. Now, it comes a point where that starts breaking. You have to start charging what it's worth. So again, you have to start charging what your product's worth. So again, you have two choices here. Either you scale back to the point where your model works and your pricing is right and everything's working well for you. Or you make this conscious decision to grow out of no man's land. But as you grow, you need to understand exactly what your current model is and how you're going to change that model to take you to the next level. So how your pricing's got to change, how your product's got to change, and how you got to get that alignment right with what the customer needs and core value proposition, so that you're taking the business to the next level. Next up, money, capital. There comes a point where, or when we enter no man's land, we very often don't have enough capital to make our way through. And I'll give you a great example. I started my document record storage business because of an opportunity. And I had to make the decision fairly quickly. And I didn't do my homework on what the capital requirements would be to start this document record storage business. So we get it started and we're doing really well and we're signing contracts and we're on a great growth trajectory. And then all of a sudden, we realize that we just don't have the resources anymore, that we're running out of cash. You can imagine, first of all, you need more and more stock, and then we need more racking space, and then we need these fire suppression systems. I mean, hell, we needed a whole new state-of-the-art warehouse. But we didn't have the money, and it was the height of the 2008 financial crisis. We were seen as a risky investment. So here's the thing. There is no magic pill for money. In our case, we got creative. We found a fast-moving consumer goods company who was in a bad place because of the financial crisis, and had a whole lot of warehouse space, of very advanced warehouse space. So we moved in with them, and we set up our business and set up our storage in there. And in truth, in the long run, it wasn't the best decision as well. But we got in there, we got set up. We pushed our credit terms as far as we could with our suppliers. We incentivized our customers to pay on shorter terms. We financed everything we possibly could: scanners, software. We even wrote some of our own software. But we did everything we could and we got creative to make our way through the capital challenges we had. So my advice to you is, if you choose to go through no man's land, you need to make sure that you understand what the capital requirements for your business are going to be going forward. And here's what I'd suggest. One of the things that we did that was really helpful was to bring on a part-time CFO. So we had a great financial control up to that point, but we realized very quickly that the amount of growth we'd been through and trying to model this stuff, we needed a good CFO. So we brought in somebody part-time, and they helped us get a sense of what we had to do going forward to make sure that we de-risked the company, put in a management team that when somebody looked at us, they were able to say, okay, it's possibly worth putting some money into this because the company had been de-risked a bit. There was a good management team. So be very conscious of money as you making the decision to traverse no man's land. Last up, momentum. This is possibly one of my favorite words this year. It is one of my 3 words for the year. If you haven't seen that, it's on a previous video. But basically, when you get into no man's land, and imagine yourself, you've seen those folks walking up a mountain and kind of trudging along slowly, or you're walking through a desert. It becomes really difficult to keep momentum and to move forward. You're frustrated, you're struggling, and it's kind of like walking through a swamp. So what you really need is energy. You need to bring in some positive energy so that you keep the momentum going. So you decided you're going to get across this no man's land. You're not going to go backwards, but you really need the energy to do this. So there's a few things that you can do to bump up the energy in your company. First off, optimism. Get clear on what your vision is. If you haven't spent time getting clear on what your vision is, do it now. I've got a 12-week freedom experience coming up, working with online coaching with entrepreneurs like yourself. And the first thing we're going to do is focus on vision. So if that's something that's going to help you, you'll find a link to sign up below. But really, get your vision clear. Know where you're going. Make sure it's inspiring. Make sure that you're committed to getting to achieving that vision. And make sure that you are self-sacrificing as well. You want people to look at you and to feel inspired, and they want to see that commitment from you, the commitment to achieve that vision. So know where you're going, know what your vision is, and inspire people to follow you. Next, you need to have a clear decision-making process. You need to know who makes the decisions about what, who makes the tough decisions, how those decisions are made in terms of your core values. And you need to have this guide so that as you start to put people into leadership roles, as you start to create this leadership team, there's clear guidelines for the decision-making process. And that your team knows how to use those guidelines to hit your overarching goals. Last thing is basically just to ignite your culture. You kind of want to set a fire underneath the culture in an organization. So shake things up a bit. Shake up your inner circle, your leadership team. Bring some fresh blood into that team. Breathe new life into it. Demonstrate that you are committed to getting to that vision by making the changes. It means messing up your business a little bit, and you're going to have to clean that up as well. But when you're messing things up, you may be trimming the tree, so to speak, doing some pruning, getting rid of some products, getting back to what your core value proposition is, getting that alignment right. It might mean committing to building new products. So if you got left behind in the cloud, you may need to catch up now. And that may mean stop investing in what you were doing and start investing in something new. And you may be cutting off revenue for a few months. But you need to show that you're committed to going forward. Tell people that you care about their contribution to the organization, and be quick to thank folks in line with what your core values are. So, hey, thanks very much for hitting this core value, and call it out at town halls and meetings. You're going to do some messing up and creating some fire underneath your culture to move things forward. So, you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to struggle alone. I'm serious about helping you to take your business to the next level. I'm serious about helping you get clear on what you want to do, about getting that vision right, and helping you get the momentum that you need to get to where you're going. As I said, I've got a 12-week course starting soon. The details are in the link below. Sign up, and we're going to be kicking that off within the next few days. Get on that. First thing we're going to focus on is your vision. We're going to get into what your core values are. We're going to get into what your core purpose is. And through 12 weeks, we're going to roll up our sleeves and really help you to find the momentum you need to take your business and get it out of no man's land, or get it from startup to a more mature business. Doesn't matter where you're at the moment. Get into it. If you're feeling like you haven't got that momentum this year, sign up and let's get on with it. I'd love to hear what you got, what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear where you're at. Have you had to navigate no man's land? Have you made it through? What happened? Share them below. Love to engage with you. And don't forget to subscribe.